Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful Sunday. Um, so, a lot has happened in the past week in the cryptocurrency market specifically, and we've seen many cryptocurrencies reach their all-time high and then adjust. And today we are witnessing a kind of a consolidation in prices. So I'm right now in CoinMarketCap, and I can clearly see how today specifically, and like every Sunday, by the way, prices tend to consolidate. The volume traded gets lower, and we can see uncertainty and like the markets and the trends going sideways. So I can just start by looking at Bitcoin, that is kind of at a very important level, which is the psychological price of $60,000. It's currently at 6,600. We have Ethereum at 4.2K, also above the 4K support level. We have BNB that breached the $500 price point, and we did talk before previously about how BNB had a very good trade setup, and it is currently up by almost 9% in the past week. That there's a stable coin for those who don't know, and it's always priced at $1. But what we can do for stable coins, by the way, is not only look at the price, but look at the market cap. And this is a key indicator of how many people are holding this cryptocurrency and the stable coin specifically. And we can see that its market cap is really rising, and this shows that there are many traders that are basically looking into buying this cryptocurrency in order to hedge the market fluctuation, but then go back in and buy other cryptocurrencies whenever the markets go back up. We have Cardano at $65 billion market cap and a price of almost $2. It is eyeing its previous price of $2. Solana is also eyeing the $200 price mark. XRP is still consolidating above $1, between 1 and 1 point, let's say around 1.16. XRP did not it did not reach its full potential yet. It is still consolidating, going sideways, maybe in anticipation of other events, such as, for example, the SEC lawsuit and what happens in the cryptocurrency market. We have Polkadot, $41, also above the $40 price mark. But we have a newcomer, which is Shiba Inu, that jumped recently and was really hyped in the past week. We can see that it is up by 65% in the past week, and even before that, we're going to look into Shiba Inu from a technical standpoint. The main fundamental news that happened regarding Shiba is basically its listing on Coinbase, and then they are looking into creating a more solid infrastructure regarding their blockchain. And it basically surpassed Dogecoin, and that was a very big surprise for most dog token holders. No one expected Shiba Inu to surpass Dogecoin, and here we are today. Dogecoin's market cap is around 34.6 billion, while Shiba Inu's market cap is around 35.7 billion, and that's almost like around 1.1 billion market cap value difference between the two. USD coin was pushed outside the top 10. It's currently around number 11 with the current market cap of 33 billion, 33.2. And then we have a huge gap between number 11 and number 12, which is Terra Luna, with a market cap of 16 billion. So that's almost 17 billion difference in market cap. So we would expect those from number 11 all the way upwards to be the main leading force of the cryptocurrency market. Of course, with Bitcoin having a dominance of 44%. Along with the others in the top 10, top 11, we can expect that number to increase even higher, maybe towards 50 or 60%. Great, let me just look into everything here is fine. Basically streaming not from my office today. And so since we jumped into the top 10, top 11, let us pick like 4 or 5 from those tokens and we're going to technically analyze them and see what's happening specifically in their setups, if we can do something specific with their prices or not. So I'm going to start as usual with Bitcoin and just look into its price action. As always, I usually use for my charting analysis trading view. And as always as well, I'm going to start using a new chart layout just to show and the very basics of how to chart from scratch and understand how we can like kind of to know what to expect in the future. So that was Ether's price action. I'm going to go back to Bitcoin. And this is Bitcoin. So we can kind of see how the similarities between the tokens, and we're going to look into that specifically right now. Like the price action is really similar between all the cryptocurrencies, but the main difference is how much this token is getting higher or lower. So looking into BTC, since the beginning of 2021, right here, when prices were around $20,000, even above. So on the first, prices kind of reached, here we go, $28,000, and they continued higher. That was a very strong support for Bitcoin, as if we look right here, $28,000. This is where prices basically broke out upwards and then adjusted back to this area twice. And then another time after the surge, the rise towards $64,000, and then the fall back towards this specific level, and prices tended to touch it and then adjust a bit higher, and then touch it again and then adjust higher. And then for the last time around in July 2021, of course, July 21 specifically as well, like I'm going to just delimit this right here. That was the last consolidation in prices around this area, and that we gave a very strong signal to buy around this area. And this is where prices started to pick up again, and they started eyeing their previous all-time high. And here we are today. We just broke that, and we are consolidating around this specific area right here. So our uptrend is delimited by this trend line. I'm going to first just show the trend line that Bitcoin is currently on. That's my number one. My number two would be just to check the Fibonacci retracement level back from the previous consolidation area, which is, I would say, around right here. So I start from here all the way to the high. And I can clearly see how prices managed to retrace all the way towards the 38.2% retracement level. And specifically, this is very normal for prices of Bitcoin, as they were hugely upvalued, overvalued for the past few weeks. And I can clearly see how prices managed to retrace specifically towards the $56,000 retracement area. And today we are trying to stay right above the $60,000, which represents, as I said earlier, a very strong psychological price area. So that's my horizontal line right here. I'm going to put that in red to mark an important area. And we are currently right above it by a few. Okay, let me go back to my chart. Here we go. So we are right here, and what might happen right now? So we have a few possibilities. I would say if prices manage to break the psychological price area again, right here, I would anticipate a further drop towards the 50%, which is the $53,000 right here. And by the way, I'm someone who's not so much hyped by any market. I'm not the type of to say like, hey, you should buy to the moon and whatever. I'm very pragmatic, and I look at what's currently happening and I assess. So we might see an adjustment for Bitcoin towards the $53,000 price mark. And that's, of course, if prices breach the $60,000 price mark. And I want to stress on how this is not a set point, but rather this is an area. This is at $60,000. So I would say all this area right here, if I see another drop below it, I would anticipate prices to fall even toward the 50% retracement level. On the other hand, prices can and are eyeing the psychological price of 70. And for Bitcoin specifically, and for other cryptocurrencies, and even for stocks, by the way, as I'm a portfolio manager and I also trade stocks, we can see how basically prices react in a certain way when it comes to specific price areas. So whenever you have a stock price at 49, for example, the $50 price mark is always a target for traders. And specifically technical traders, not fundamental traders who study the balance sheet and the income statement of this company that they are looking into, but rather they just look at the price action and try to basically place their trades. So for Bitcoin, if prices manage to breach this area heavily lower, I would anticipate a drop towards $53,000. Whereas on the other hand, if prices continue to consolidate but show strength, I would anticipate a price rise towards the $70,000 area. So we are now between this area right here and we are at the lower bottom, and I would want to maybe place a trade around this level right here. And that's it for BTC. I'm going to move to ETH. And for ETH, it is also on an uptrend. It's a bit risky buying into ETH, by the way, because we didn't see any significant drop in prices yet. We are still seeing a continuous uptrend. And this is my trend line for ETH. So prices can still adjust all the way down toward this area right here. Not sure why I'm using lines, but anyway, prices can still reach this trend line right here. And specifically, where can it reach? First, I can look at the psychological price areas right here at the resistance levels. Specifically, if you notice, it coincides with the 4K, $4,000. On another hand, plotting my Fibonacci retracement maybe hints at a drop a bit less than the psychological price. So between 4K and 3.8, the 38.2% retracement level, that's where I might place my buy orders for ETH. And of course, that's if prices continue to retrace a bit lower. So let me just put my strong supports, my important areas to buy right here. I have one here. I have one toward this 2.8. I have one here, 3.3. And for this specific area, I would say that prices can still adjust a bit lower, all the way towards this area before continuing higher. Now, the next level obviously would be, since we are at 4.2, many, I'm not gonna say 5K, but it is definitely another psychological milestone for ETH, because many analysts were basically talking about a price of $10,000 per ETH, and today we are almost around the half of that milestone. So many traders would like to see a hike in prices all the way towards 5K. Now, is this feasible before the end of the year? Hey, if we look right here, we can see how prices jumped by $1,000 within, let's see here, within 1 month, right? So in the next month, this is a very significant an important movement for ETH, and we would want to see a kind of a retracement and then an uptrend all the way towards 5K. And this price action is a bit similar to BTC, by the way. I would say that it is very similar to BTC. So if you want to place your buy orders for ETH, I wouldn't suggest to buy right now. I would suggest to wait a little further for a price adjustment all the way towards 4K or 3.8 even, and then placing your buy order. But placing a stop loss is always important in order to limit your losses, hedge market fluctuations, especially as we saw right here. If someone placed a buy order at around 4K, prices dipped suddenly towards 3K, and that's like more than a third of your a quarter of your investments, and that's really bad. Of course, now if you hodled all the way towards 2.7, I'm sure many people decided to sell right here, or they decided to keep it for the long term, and that's where your trading psychology and your trading goals come into play. So that's it for ETH. I think right now is not a good idea to buy. I would definitely wait for a kind of an adjustment a bit lower, more towards the 4K, and then placing my stop loss around 3.5 maybe, and then placing my target at around 5K. Or again, if you are a long time holder, you would wait for, I don't know, at least 6 to 1 year, 6 months, all the way till 1 year. Let's go to Cardano, so which is ADA. Every now and then I'm trying to look at the chat to see if anyone has any question or any recommendation for any cryptocurrency. Please, hey, go ahead and shoot them up. Okay, so right now I'm going to look at ADA. So ADA reached its $3 price mark, and definitely it was expected a heavy adjustment all the way towards $2. And if we notice that most of the time those heavy adjustments happen, like for example, from 3 all the way to 2, that's a third. That's 1/3 of the price just wiped due to profit taking. It might be due to a heavier and more like a bigger selling volume lower, I would say. Bigger selling volume. So I would say that there were many sellers around this area right here, the $3, and that explains all the buying that happened from this rush of this extended uptrend, all the way from 1 to 3. Like that's tripling everyone's money, and then some people decided to cash out, and it went all the way to $2, and we are currently around that area. Now, should you buy around that area? I would say, since this is very close to a psychological price, like $2 is the psychological price area, and prices managed to even reach 1.8, I would say that this area right here is a good buy. Definitely it is a good buy, and your profit would definitely be at the previous all-time high of $3. So you might want to buy right here, and of course I'm talking from a technical perspective, not looking into the fundamentals right now, because the fundamentals you can just go ahead and go to our website CryptoTicker.io and check out all our fundamental and technical articles that specifically describes every cryptocurrency and what's happening and all the news that's happening in this industry. So going back to ADA, this is a good buying area. I would want to buy around here because prices are kind of consolidating right now, although I might expect some drop towards 1.9 or 1.8 still, but prices should go back towards 2.3 at the first level, at the first target, maybe consolidate a bit further, but reaching the $3 price mark is a target for ADA. Specifically, like everything I'm saying right now depends on the macro level of the entire cryptocurrency market. So let's say the entire cryptocurrency market crashes and something happens fundamentally, or Bitcoin, for example, started to drops, and then all the cryptocurrencies follows. Of course, ADA is not going to follow this course of action, but taking everything into consideration that it is stagnant and constant specifically, this is what should happen for ADA. This is a strong buy order. This is a support for ADA, and buying at a support is really important. So I'd say that this is a good buying area for ADA. Let's move on to, let's see what's happening with XRP. XRP has been consolidating for an extended period. So since August, prices maybe reached 1.4 really briefly, but then crashed with the entire cryptocurrency market towards 90 cents. And today we are specifically in that middle, which is $1.1, between 1 and 1.1. So for Ripple, this is another, I would say, consolidation area for XRP. You can see how prices on a short term were a bit bearish, going lower and lower. And then they reached 95 cents, but then they retraced again into this area. And keeping everything constant, as I said earlier for ADA, I would expect that XRP also manages to consolidate and then shoots outside of this area upwards. Upwards where? I would say at the first target towards the 1.4 price. Let me delimit this. So prices should reach back their previous high of 1.4. We had a very strong support around 90 cents. So keep in mind, let's say if prices dipped heavily towards this area, this is a very strong buy area, and I would color this with green. Green, of course, meaning buy area. All the others should be in another color because red is a bit of a sell area, but for now, I'm just delimiting this as a very important level. And my profit taking would be around 1.4. Here we go. This is it. I think this is a good setup for XRP. Although, of course, prices are indeed still consolidating in this area between 1 and 1.1. And I would definitely say that prices should be able to break out. But at the same time, if the SEC lawsuit happens to turn positive, even if XRP company happens to settle, if a Ripple company happens to settle, I would say that this is a big hurdle that is set aside, and then the company can continue its regular activities. And I think prices should, in the long term or even in the medium term, just turn bullish and become even stronger. Because if you just want to look at XRP on a very macro level, it is still very, very far away from its previous all-time high, which was around 3.2. It was around 3.2. But at the same time, we are kind of around the middle of that. I wouldn't say that $3 is a significant area for XRP, because I'm looking at the 1 month candle now, and prices barely held around $3 for only 1 month. So I would say that the $2 is more appropriate. So buying at 1 and selling at 2, at least for the medium term, that's like doubling your money in a big project. Of course, if you're into buying undervalued projects that will 5x, for example, rather than only 2x, right, that's your decision, that's your call. I'm going now to take my last token for the day, which is I'm gonna take Tron. Tron has been which is TRX. take it to the dollar. Now Tron has a somewhat interesting formation. I'm going to take the daily chart. And we can clearly see how in the beginning prices were just shot way high. And then the trend line stopped, breached for a period of time. This is where we entered a kind of a sideways trend. And we reached a very strong support of around 9 cents. Let me check here. 8 to 9, yeah. Between this one and this one. So this area right here is a very strong support for TRX, for Tron. And prices dipped kind of towards it and then retraced a bit higher. For now, prices are back and they are kind of going all the way back towards the 12 cents price area. We are now at around 10 cents. So that would be a nice 20% increase in prices. But bear in mind that TRX has even higher potentials and can reach the levels from back in April, for example, which is around 18 cents. So buying from 10 all the way to 18, that's almost doubling your money as well. And we remain to see what happens fundamentally in TRX's formation. So buying right now, you can place a stop loss though around less than 8 cents. That's a bit risky. Okay, I would say to kind of wait for another adjustment right here, because we had like for 3 days just prices going higher and higher. I would wait for another adjustment a bit lower and then buying TRX, and setting a take profit at around 12 cents would be a good idea to have this kind of technical formation. So I think that's it. I'm just placing my resistance area right here and my target at 12 cents. And this would be enough, I think, for the day. If anyone has any suggestion or any token question, for example, we are now live on our Discord channel. This is where basically we are moving our Telegram trading group all the way towards our Discord channel. You can join the free channels first just to see how it's going, but definitely in our premium channels we have we can answer all the questions, recommendations. We give out trade setups that are making very good money, and we are very transparent. We post all the history of our trades. So we're going to talk more about that in the next live stream, focusing more on our Discord channel, what we do, and showing, because usually those live streams are more informative about what's happening in the cryptocurrency market. And yeah, I think that's it for today. I wish everyone a great Sunday and see you next week. Cheers.